going and building a chapel is he had come and asked me about helping because it was ready to start the building and wanted the foundation built, to put in the foundation for the building. And so I said I'd come and do it, and I got one guy from the job to go with me. And I took a bunch of the forms that we had for the buildings there, the houses we was building, and I just kind of borrowed them, and I took a couple of houses of forms and put them on my truck. I had a Dodge truck with the racks on it. I put the forms up on that track. Then I went over and took this guy with me, and I had a little bit before that, I went over and marked out the area where the house of the chapel was going to be, and I marked it all out. And then they had a guy with a backhoe come and dig all the footings around the building. And then me and that other guy went over there and had all them forms, and so we set the forms up and got all that done and poured the cement for the foundation. We had all the foundation poured, and it was through that I got the vision, or whatever you want to call it, about I would really like to build a chapel, but I couldn't build it because I had this job and all these other things going. And so then it was a year later, after I'd poured that foundation and set that all up, that he kept looking for somebody to come and build a chapel, and he couldn't find anybody, and that's when he come back and asked me if I would come and build it. And that's when God anointed me with the yes to do it. And so really it started back before that, but I didn't know it happened when I went over and put the foundation in, set all the forms up, and poured the footings for all the foundations. So I did that before I went to build it.
That's awesome. God's always at work, and at work,
and
yeah.
So he brought it up about that.
Building a foundation, and then God works on that foundation in our heart and builds on that, and gives us the vision of what He wants us to do or do through us.
Yeah.
And that was the story of how you first got to Mount Gilead, right?
Well, that was when I first I was already involved, because I'd went and built some other things there. Had a bunch of houses, just kind of little frame houses, and we put tents over them, and that's where the kids slept, in these little tents. And every time it rained, why, they'd get wet because the tents would leak every time you touch a canvas. The kids would touch the canvas, and then it'd leak. And so Norman and I was up there all night moving kids around and trying to get them so they wouldn't get wet. And so that's when we decided that we was going to put roofs on those cabins.
God's used you in miraculous ways.
So then we put roofs on all them cabins, and I had a cousin of Emma's, and he was took and made shingles, or he knew how to do it, and so we had a log outfit right there to camp, and they had a bunch of log ends and stuff that they donated, and So I got all those log ends up there, and this guy come and he cut all it up, and split the logs up, and made shingles out of them. So
Wow.
made shingles, shingle all them roofs with.
That's amazing. All right,
It's kind of,
another amazing story.
God just brought that to my mind a while ago and forgot all about that. So he bring that up, and that word that he used brought that to my mind.